Hi you guys, welcome. It's been a while since I've done full-on horoscope videos. I love to do it. They're so time consuming. I've been very busy, and I still am going to be busy for a while, and so I decided to do readings that are good for 3 months. So like for a 3-month time period. I hope that's not like, I don't know, in one ear and out the other in sort of the span of 3 months. That's kind of a while, but hopefully it'll be kind of a generalization for that time, and then I'll be able to do some smaller readings too in the sort of in-between time. Go back and reference these videos, of course. Yeah, just to give you guys a little bit of sort of something. So they're for June, July, and August, and they can be for any sign in any planet, whatever resonates. I also want to say, because I am doing or the structure of these is sort of longer because they are 3 months long, and I wanted to kind of like do some extra, so they're longer. And I do have a basically they're like 4 parts. I'm giving you a general information, and then a sort of a timeline, which is just sort of a, I don't know, supplementation to the general information, and then advice and outcome for that, and then also doing an overview of your love, career, finances and stuff, and also health. And so that's what I wanted to say, was because I am sort of integrating like a health thing, just to talk about that for a minute. And this goes for everything, right? I don't really worry too much about doing readings and giving people advice, because I feel like in the end people kind of, I don't know, they end up doing what they're going to do and what they feel is right, sort of. It's just like kind of like a guidepost a little bit. So you're really looking for that familiarity. If it's not familiar, don't follow it as advice, right? And be conscious of yourself using any kind of advice, but especially things like this, as sort of like an excuse for anything. You know, and especially when it comes to your health and stuff like that, obviously, like health professionals, all that kind of stuff. But it's just kind of like a guideline. If it seems familiar, you know what I mean, you might want to go back to it and look at kind of what other information is surrounding that, right? Sort of thing. So hopefully that all makes sense. I filmed these videos. I've been traveling, so I've been filming these videos, sort of camping. That's why it's taking me so hecking long, and I'm like way behind schedule because I'm just, you know, weather and stuff like that, wind and all that. So they're kind of filmed in various locations, environments, quality. Hopefully it's not too much of a problem, the audio and stuff like that. As usual, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think, if these were helpful, if you enjoyed them. Give me a thumbs up if you can, if you'd like to, and subscribe and all that. And yes, I hope that you enjoy. Welcome, Libra, to your reading. Let's just start with the general energy for this time period, this June, July, and August. For Libra, Sun, Moon, Rising, anything else. Sorry if my eyes are closed. The sun is right in my face. Okay, the general overall feel is it's a little bit slow. There's some sort of like passion falling out or something, or like something that was really, yeah, just like passionate and like fiery, maybe, intense. Not necessarily positive or negative, just a lot of intensity, is kind of turning to like a different side, like a more, much more reserved, again, not necessarily positive or negative, it's just much calmer, much more sort of mellow, maybe predictable than it was before. Something could be coming up out of your past back into your life, or it could also be like an internal thing. Habitual things and stuff like that could be kind of coming up. I'm seeing communication specifically coming out of your past, possibly in a negative way, or kind of just more of a really extreme way. But yeah, definitely communication and like an openness. So it could be like parts of like your psyche and stuff like that trying to communicate with you, and your past and your subconscious and things like that. You seem kind of focused on your in your sort of zone, right? Could be home focused, family focused, that kind of thing. Something you're comfortable with, somewhere you're comfortable with. Yeah, that being sort of your focus. So you could be definitely welcoming this communication, this past stuff coming up also. But you might have a lot of like preconceived notions about it too, right? Think you know a lot about it. Whether you do or not, I'm not sure, but there's definitely that sort of attitude coming from you that there's a, you know all about this kind of thing that's kind of coming up. But there's also some like anxieties, nervousness, paranoia and stuff like that, but it's kind of like on a background of like, the background is sort of positive. It's not that rocky. It's supportive. But it's not like enough, I guess. There's still this kind of nervousness and a paranoia. That's a loud truck. There's ants crawling on me. Yeah. That's what I'm seeing. I'm definitely seeing some double symbology a little bit. Yeah, it's not necessarily like, even though it's like more internal and inward and calm, it's not necessarily like a solitary energy in a huge way. There's still a sense of like communicating and working with somebody and something or something like that. It's just, I don't know, in kind of a slow way and in a less fiery way. So I'll pick these up and put down a little bit of like a timeline so we can see how this is working out. I'm not doing like month to month, but just like a sort of a general kind of process over these 3 months. Yeah. Timeline wise, definitely in the beginning is that kind of molassesy like slowness that I was getting. For you, it just might feel very slow this time. I don't know. But it has a very, what do I want to say? A human quality to it. Very like earthy, human, social kind of quality to it. First of all, almost all of the cards in front of me, there's 11 cards in front of me, and 9 of them are these ones, these zodiac sign cards. So weird. I've never really seen that before. I'm guessing that's having to do with the timeline, just feeling slow and feeling like it's on its own kind of timeline, right? It's on some kind of schedule. It's not necessarily yours, just in general. But like I said, it's kind of, there's a slowness in the beginning and sort of a very earthy quality and like like servitude kind of, I want to say, like really like giving a lot into whatever, probably family stuff, home stuff, work stuff, things like that, things that are very like of this kind of earth. And then there's a sort of a sudden kind of like, they could be coming through your dreams or just some kind of like awakening, some like spark of inspiration, some like spiritual like information or something. Could be communication with another person that's kind of sending you in a different trajectory a little bit. And I see you kind of, it's communicating with you, but you're shutting it down a little bit. Shutting it down and it's kind of coming back in and you can't shut it down. By the end, it's there and it's obsessively kind of getting at you, sort of thing. They're trying to shut it down, it looks like, maybe because this beginning part is so kind of, it looks more steady, more predictable, but also in a way sort of emotionally dependent, right? This could be this sort of middle area where you have some kind of subconscious or something coming in from your past or someone that you're communicating with that's like opening your perspective or opening your subconscious some. it's like disruptive of this, but it's also, I think, can be helpful to this as well, because this just has such kind of an unconscious vibe to it, and maybe not the most authentic. If it's not like it's not authentic, but just not like you know what I mean. It's like you want to have access to all that subconscious stuff, I guess, or it wants to have access to you. Something is trying to get at you, and you're trying to block it out, and it's coming in towards the end. It was like you thought, but nope. So what am I going to do? I'm going to pick these up. I'm going to lay some more cards down for some advice, an outcome, and then we will get it specifically into career, health, and love for June, July, and August. All right, so your advice is to, the way I say it is like I'm going to say one single thing. Here's your advice. This is what it's saying. First of all, don't like just that whole like trying to ignore it thing and distracting yourself thing. This is kind of confusing. Let me explain. Okay, distracting yourself thing. Don't do that, right? Don't like distract yourself from it. They do want you to kind of go towards it, or go towards something that's going to be new, right, and not something that you've done before, not your old habits and things like that, even if they're a little bit uncomfortable. Don't stay in the sort of your comfort zone, even if it's like an expansive comfort zone, if that makes sense. Abel, please stay here. He's trying to like chase little animals. Anyways, yeah, even if it's like if it seems like a very expansive like comfort zone, if it's your comfort zone, it's your comfort zone, and they want you to kind of move out of that a little bit. Your sort of blind spot, and I think that what this is saying is that this is what's going to be sort of more troublesome for this, whatever kind of unpleasant aspects the past is sort of bringing to you, the reason that you're ignoring it. What was I saying? Is because you're sort of attached to it, right? There's sort of this attachment that you can still make something of that past, if that makes any sense. That's like your blind spot, right? That you can still kind of like stay there, even if it's even if it's kind of like negative. There's something I want to say, and I'm having a really hard time saying it. Let's get into what your like strengths are. Maybe that'll help. Your strength cards are coming up as like your ability to just explore things and be a little bit objective and a little bit detached, and to like go for things that catch your eye a little bit, right? Stay in the moment and not so much in the past or in the future, to harness that ability to kind of like chase like shiny things and novel things and new things. Yeah, I'm still not really understanding what I was trying to say before, which is confusing. But yeah, it's definitely coming up as not getting so wound up in the past, and maybe something having to do with like the ability to explore those things that are coming up from your past can be dependent on your ability to be objective from them and to be less emotionally attached, if that makes sense. Less doing the same things that you've done before, and less thinking that you can create things in the same way that you've created them before, if that makes any sense. I hope that makes sense. And then your outcome card is this card, which is also your ending card for your timeline, which is the Pisces card. So it is very open. It's very taking in of a lot of information and very accepting, and it's a nice, I think, mellow card, as opposed to kind of like the anxiety that I'm feeling surrounding addressing all of this stuff, right? Addressing whatever this is that's kind of coming towards you, and won't leave you alone. That sort of like resistance to that. Just kind of focus on doing things that are novel, doing things in a new way, learning things, and not getting kind of stuck and trapped back in your sort of old habits slash distracting yourself too much in an effort to kind of not deal with them. I feel like I have ants crawling all over me. Okay, I'll pick this up, put down cards for, what did I say, career, health, and love, and I will be right back. Okay, the light is definitely going away, so I apologize for that, but let's just hurry up and get this over with. Just kidding. Let's finish. What am I doing? Oh yeah. Okay, let's talk first about career slash like money, earthly resources, that kind of thing. This could definitely be where some of your anxiety is coming from, it looks like, or is being placed maybe. And the advice is kind of straightforward, just more future oriented, right? Not focusing so much on the past, working yourself up and that kind of thing. And it could lead more into, and you want to be a little bit more like objective and like in your mind rather than like your emotions and that kind of thing. And to come out of a place of being kind of obsessed with what your sort of preferences are, and being able to fulfill some obligations that have maybe built up or something. So yeah, just focus on the future more, come up with a plan, do things sort of step by step, stay a little bit ahead that way, and don't get too bogged down by feeling like you're not totally doing everything that you want to be doing right now and that kind of thing. So that you can sort of get caught up on some things. Okay, back up please. Go on. Go. Okay, health-wise, it looks pretty positive. It looks kind of like, it looks kind of like a, sort of a return to, please stop. Go on. A return to more of like a focus on yourself, and sort of this idea of taking care of yourself before you take care of others so that you can take care of others kind of thing, being less kind of like, again, hyper concerned about everyone else around you, and just kind of relaxing a little bit more, calming yourself down a little bit more, and kind of coming into a place where you're less, A, dependent on other people for your own health, and B, kind of focused on other people's health above your own, right? Where it's a more self-connected kind of energy, if that makes sense, and a like knowledgeable one too. I'm seeing like some knowledge come through, so it could be having to do with like getting to know your own body in some ways too. Okay. Love-wise, it looks like it's kind of not really your focus right now, and that you might be kind of that it's just not really your focus. It's either not your focus, or it's kind of like the opposite of your focus. You're just maybe don't have a lot of energy for it or something, and you're wanting to keep more of that for yourself. It is advising you to kind of divide your energy a little. Do put a little bit of effort, a little bit of attention towards your relationships and things like that. Don't just completely like ignore them, put them down, that kind of thing, hoping that people will understand and stuff like that, because you could end up with some drama. If you just kind of, they're not saying to put, okay, please stop, please go, let me finish this, go on. They're not saying to put, all of your energy into that, or to completely like switch your focus from what your focus is, but that if you do kind of put some, they're being so annoying, and they're really dirty. Okay, if you do kind of put some of your energy into this, even if it's a little bit fleeting, you can kind of keep things stabilized. They might not really go anywhere, but they'll at least kind of like remain stabilized, remain where they are, until you can actually put a little bit more energy into that. Okay, I hope that this was helpful. Thank you for watching. I'm sure I'm in complete darkness by now, so thank you for listening, and yes, goodbye.